Hello, my name is Jiso and I'm reading Master Dōgen's Shōbōgenzō. We're about halfway into chapter 76, Great Practice, Dai-Shugyo. And we've been hearing about Shōbōgenzō's fox. I'll just read the little poem that I finished with last time. In the time of Kasyapa Buddha, we lived on this mountain. In the time of Shakyamuni Buddha, we are living on this mountain. Former body and present body, the faces of the sun and the faces of the moon, shut out the ghost of a wild fox and manifest the ghost of a wild fox. How could a wild fox know its life for 500 lives? When someone says that a wild fox knows 500 lives by using a wild fox's intelligence, then the wild fox intelligence has not yet completely known the facts of one life, and a life has not yet rammed into a wild fox's skin. When a wild fox unfailingly knows it's falling down in each of 500 lives, then reality is realized. It does not completely know the whole of one life. There are instances of knowing and there are instances of not knowing. Given that body and knowing do not arise and pass together, it is impossible to count 500 lives. It is impossible to count 500 lives. If it is impossible to count 500 lives, the words 500 lives might be a fabrication. If someone says that a wild fox knows by using intelligence other than a wild fox's intelligence, then it is not the knowing of a wild fox. What person could know these 500 lives on a wild fox's behalf? Without any road of clear understanding through knowing and not knowing, we cannot speak of falling into the body of a wild fox. And if there is no falling into the body of a wild fox, there can be no getting free of the body of a wild fox. If there is neither falling in nor getting free, there can be no former Hyakujo. If there is no former Hyakujo, there can be no present Hyakujo, which cannot be conceded at random. We should research in detail like this. Utilizing this reasoning, we should test and defeat all the fallacies that have been heard again and again throughout the Liang, Chen, Sui, Tang, and Sung dynasties. The old non-man, moreover, says to the present Hyakujo, "Please perform for me the funeral ceremony of a deceased monk." These words should not be like that. Since Hyakujo's time, countless good counselors have not doubted or been surprised at these words. The point is this: how could a dead fox be a deceased monk without having taken the precepts, without experience of summer retreats, without the dignified forms, and without the principles of a monk? If any such being may undergo at random the funeral ceremony of a deceased monk, all dead people who have never left family life, whoever they are, would have to be accorded the rites of a deceased monk. A dead upasaka or upasika, if a request were forthcoming, would have to be accorded the rites of a deceased monk, as was the dead fox. When we look for such an example, there is none, and we hear of none. No such ceremony has been authentically transmitted in Buddhism. Even if we wanted to perform it, we would not be able to do so. The words quoted now, that Hyakujo cremates it according to the funeral method, are not beyond doubt. It is possible that they are a mistake. Remember, there are set procedures for all the rites of a deceased monk, from efforts on entering the Nirvana hall to pursuit of the truth on arriving at the Bodhi garden, and they are not done at random. Even if a wild fox from the root of a rock claims to be the former Hyakujo, how could the conduct of a full monk be present in it? How could it have the bones and marrow of the Buddhist patriarchs? Who will testify that it is the former Hyakujo? Do not despise and belittle the Dharma standards of the Buddhist patriarchs by idly accepting the transmogrification of the ghost of a wild fox as true. As the descendants of Buddhist patriarchs, attach weight to the Dharma standards of the Buddhist patriarchs. Never follow a request as Hyakujo does. It is hard to meet even one matter or one method. Do not be influenced by secular vulgarity, and do not be led by human sentiment. In this country of Japan, the forms of Buddhas and the forms of patriarchs have been hard indeed to meet and hard indeed to hear. Now that on rare occasions we are able to hear them and able to see them, we should revere them more profoundly than the pearl in the topknot. Unhappy people are not profound in religious conviction. It is pitiful. It is generally because they have never recognized the relative weight of things, and because they are without the wisdom of 500 years and without the wisdom of 1,000 years. Nevertheless, we should urge ourselves on and encourage others. Having been able to receive an authentic tradition from the Buddhist patriarchs, even if it is only one prostration, and even if it is only one instance of upright sitting, we should profoundly feel great happiness and should rejoice in the great good of having met what is difficult to meet. People who lack this mind, even if they meet the appearance in the world of 1,000 Buddhas, will not possess a single virtue and will not be able to obtain a single benefit. They will just be non-Buddhists, who idly attach themselves to the Buddha Dharma. They may seem in their mouths to be learning the Buddha Dharma, but real evidence of preaching the Buddha Dharma can never be present in their mouths. In sum, if some person who has yet to become a monk, be it a king or a minister, be it a Brahma Deva or a Shakradevanam Indra, comes asking for the rights of a deceased monk, never allow it. Tell them to come back when they have left family life, received the precepts, and become a full monk. People who are attached to conduct and its rewards in the triple world, and who do not aspire to a noble position as one of the three treasures, may come bringing 1,000 dead skin bags to defile and to breach the rights of a deceased monk. But it would only be a most severe violation, and it would not produce any merit. If they wish to establish favourable relations with the merit of the Buddha Dharma, they should promptly leave family life and receive the precepts in accordance with the Buddha Dharma and become full monks. In the evening, the present Hyakujo gives formal preaching in the Dharma hall and discusses the preceding episode. The principle of this discussion is extremely dubious. What kind of discussion might they have? He seems to say that the old man, having already completed the process of 500 lives, gets rid of his former body. Should the 500 lives mentioned now be counted as in the human world? Should they be counted as in the state of a wild fox? Should they be counted as in the Buddha's truth? Furthermore, how could the eyes of an old wild fox glimpse Hyakujo? Those who are glimpsed by a wild fox may be the ghosts of wild foxes. Those who are glimpsed by Hyakujo are Buddhist patriarchs. For this reason, Zen Master Kobuku Hojo eulogizes Hyakujo as follows. Hyakujo has intimately experienced meetings with a wild fox. Questioned by it, he is greatly ruffled. Now I dare ask all you practitioners, have you completely spat out a fox's drivel or not? Some footnotes there. Questioned by it, he is greatly ruffled. Because the question, do even people in the state of great practice fall into cause and effect, is impossible to answer with words alone. Have you completely spat out the fox's drivel? As in English, drivel includes both the meaning of saliva and also something of no value or nonsense. Thus, a wild fox is the eye of Hyakujo's intimate experience. To have spat out a fox's drivel, even in a half measure, is to be sticking out the wide and long tongue and speaking for others a word of transformation. At the very moment of so doing, we get free of the body of a wild fox, get free of the body of Hyakujo, get free of the body of an old non-man, and get free of the body of the whole universe. Obaku then asks, the man in the past gave a mistaken answer as a word of transformation and fell into the body of a wild fox for 500 lives. If he had not made any mistake at that moment, what would he have become? This question is the realization of the words of the Buddhist patriarchs. Among the venerable patriarchs in the lineage of Nangaku, there is none like Obaku, either before him or after him. Nevertheless, the old man never says, I answered the practitioner mistakenly, and Hyakujo never says, he had answered mistakenly. Why does Obaku now casually say, the man in the past gave a mistaken answer as a word of transformation? If he says Hyakujo might be saying that the cause was the mistake, then Obaku has not grasped the great intent of Hyakujo. It is as if Obaku has never investigated the mistaken answers and the answers beyond mistakes that Buddhist patriarchs express. We should learn in practice that in this particular episode, the past Hyakujo does not mention a mistaken answer, and the present Hyakujo does not mention a mistaken answer. Rather, using 500 skins of wild foxes, each 3 inches thick, the past Hyakujo has experienced life on this mountain, and for the benefit of practitioners, he expresses it. Because the skin of a wild fox has already pointed hairs in the liberated state, the present Hyakujo exists as one stinking skin bag, which, when we fathom it, is half a wild fox skin in the process of getting free. There is falling down and getting free, which is, at every moment, is beyond mistakes. And there is cause and effect, which at every moment speaks words for others. They are the evident great practice itself. If Obaku were now to come and ask, if he had not made any mistake at any moment, what would he have become? I would say he would still have fallen down into the body of a wild fox. If Obaku asked, why is it so? I would say further, you ghost of a wild fox. Even then, it would not be a matter of mistakes or no mistakes. Do not concede that Obaku's question is a proper question. If Obaku asked again, what would he have become? I would say, are you able to grope the skin of the face or not? I would say further, have you got free of the body of a wild fox yet or not? I would say further, would you reply to the practitioner, they do not fall into cause and effect or not? But Hyakujo's words, step up here and I will tell you, already include the expression, what will he become is just this. Obaku steps up, having forgotten the past and oblivious of the future. His giving Hyakujo a slap is countless transmogrifications of a wild fox. Hyakujo claps his hands and laughs and says, you have just expressed that a foreigner's beard is red, but it is also a fact that a red beard is a foreigner. This expression is not the boldness of spirit that belongs to 100% perfection. It is barely 80 or 90% of realization. As a rule, even when we acknowledge 80 or 90% realization, there is not yet 80 or 90% realization. And when we acknowledge 100% realization, there is nothing left of 80 or 90% realization. That being so, I would like to say, Hyakujo's expression pervades all directions, yet he has still not left the wild fox's den. Obaku's heels are touching the ground, yet he seems to be stuck on the path of a praying mantis. Suggests a hesitant attitude, thank you, footnote. In a slap and a clap, there is one, not two. Red beards are foreigners, and foreigners' beards are red. Shōbōgenzō Dai-Shugyo, preached to the assembly at Old Kippo Temple in Etsu on the 9th day of the 3rd lunar month in the 2nd year of Kangen, 1244. Thanks for listening. Take care.